my name's Claire and this is Stitch Hem Sew. Thank you so much for joining me today for another video. Before I get started, I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody that has been watching my previous videos. All the people that have commented and liked and subscribed, it really does mean the world to me. And I've seen a lovely little flurry of new subscribers. So if you're one of those, welcome, thank you so much. And thank you to all of the subscribers that join me week after week. I really do appreciate it. If you do like today's video, don't forget to give me a like. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. I'd really appreciate it. And don't forget to check that notification bell so that you get notified of any future videos. Thank you. Now my video today is all about the sewing challenge being run this month in April. The sewing challenge is called #SelflessSewApril22 and it's been run by the lovely Crystal, who is my social thread, and Adele, who is Sew for Serenity. And the idea is that you sew things for other people rather than yourself. So it's not a case of you've got to sew everything in April for other people and you can't sew anything for yourself, but to sew something or perhaps a number of items for other people if that's what you wish to do. I think it's a really fun challenge to take part in. I love sewing for other people as well as myself. I definitely, if I'm completely honest, probably prefer to sew for myself, but I do really enjoy gifting people things that I've made. I've always enjoyed doing that ever since I was a child, and now that I'm really into sewing and that's my passion, I really enjoy sewing up things for other people. Not necessarily garments, but accessories and things as well. And I just think it's really lovely to be able to give people a personal gift. I know it's not always appropriate for everybody, and some people don't really necessarily understand the time and effort that has gone into a make, but generally my friends and family seem to appreciate when I do give them a handmade gift. So in today's video I'm just going to run through a few ideas that I've got for things that I'm going to be sewing up or hope to sew up this month, and I thought that you might be interested to see them and might give you some ideas of things that you might want to sew yourself so that you can take part in this challenge. It's by no means an exhaustive list of things that you could make, but definitely might give you some inspiration along the way. If you do want to take part in this challenge, all you have to do is post your selfless sew makes using that hashtag SelflessSewApril22 on the 30th of April. If in the meantime you want to show any works of progress or any inspirational ideas or things, then you can just use the hashtag SelflessSewApril22 WIP, WIP, and that will just leave the main hashtag free for Adele and Crystal to look over on the 30th of April. As I understand, there are a huge number of prizes being made available for this particular challenge. I think there's about 50 sponsors that are providing prizes for this challenge, so definitely in with a chance of winning a prize. I think they're splitting the prizes. Some are going to be drawn at random, and then they've got certain categories that they're looking to split up different sort of makes in, and those obviously will be sort of a picked scenario. What I'm going to do is link Crystal's video in the show notes, and also I will link a card to her video as well, which just goes into that in a little bit more detail for you. Also, throughout the month of April, Crystal and Adele will be over on Instagram and YouTube letting you know updates about the challenge, and also giving you clues to who the lovely sponsors are for this challenge. So don't forget to subscribe to both of their YouTube channels and also to their Instagram pages as well, just so that you can keep abreast of all of those details. And also on the 30th, when you post your Selfless Sew makes, don't forget to tag in both Crystal and Adele. Adele is Sew for Serenity, Crystal is my social thread. Also, just wanted to let you know that on Monday the 4th of April Crystal, who is my social thread, and Jo from Elephant in My Handbag. She is one of the sponsors for the challenge. We'll be doing an Instagram live, and then we'll just be talking about the challenge in a little bit more detail, and perhaps we'll find out what the prize is from Jo. So I just thought I'd let you know about that in case you're available to tune in over your lunch break. So on to what I'm hoping to sew up within the month of April for this challenge. I might not get everything done, but I'm definitely hoping that I will do. I'm also taking part in one other challenge within April, which is Sew April Blouse 22, which is being run by Kristen from the Dahlia Society and Cloth Edit. So there will definitely be one non-selfless sew within April. There may possibly be a few more, but let me talk you through the things that I will be sewing up to take part in Selfless Sew April 22. So the first thing I'm hoping to sew up is some cosmetics bags. Now I've sewn a number of different types of cosmetic bags since I started sewing again, but this time I'm wanting to sew up some of the ones that are kind of a circular version. I'm going to pop a picture in just so that you can give you an idea of what I'm talking about. They're the ones that have got kind of a drawstring and they pull up, but when you open them they kind of lay completely flat so that you can see all of your makeup items. I don't know about you, but sometimes I find that things get lost in the bottom of the bag, so I thought that they might make some nice gifts. I've got a couple of friends' birthdays in April, in fact 3 different people that I'm potentially looking to sew up these for. So I've got a few fabrics that I thought I would share with you, and perhaps you can give me your thoughts on which ones you think would be the best for that. Let me grab the fabrics. Right, so the first fabric that I've got is this fabric. Now this is a sort of an upholstery weight, I guess, fabric. This is from IKEA. You may well have seen it in there yourselves. I've just got a metre of this. I think it's a really gorgeous colour, but it's quite a large scale print, so I think it would look quite nice, but perhaps it would work better with a smaller print, and maybe I'll save this for sewing up a tote bag or something along those lines at some other point. I will have a think and see whether this is the one or not, but let me know, as I say, once I've shown you all those fabrics. Do let me know in the comments which one you think would work the best. So that's fabric 1. The next fabric is this fabric here. Again, I've got a metre of this fabric. It's on a tealy background and it's got all these sort of trees on. I think this is really cute. This is just kind of a cotton poplin sort of weight fabric, and I think this is gorgeous. I really like this one, and I think that would make a really nice makeup bag. And then I've got, in terms of sort of linings, I've got a number of different fat quarters that I think would pair quite nicely, would pick out some of the colours within the trees, etc. So I think one of those would work quite nicely. Hopefully a fat quarter is sort of big enough for the lining. So that sort of fabric sort of combinations too. Oh, and I've also got this fabric here, which would also kind of pick up some of the tones within there. So maybe I'm erring towards sort of these combinations. Let me know what you think. And the other fabric that I've got is this fabric here, and again I think those fat quarters that I just showed you would probably look quite nice with this too. I haven't got too much of this. I've only got probably like half a metre, and sort of the width of the fabric. It's a crafting, you know, a quilting weight type cotton, so it's not very wide. But I reckon I can probably get 2 out of that if I was to use that particular one. I think this one's really bright and fun, let me know which one you think of those 3 particular fabrics. So next up is something I've been promising to make my husband for some time. I've spoken about this in a previous, I think, Friday Sews video, that my husband wanted me to sew up covers for his games consoles. He's big into gaming and retro gaming, and he wanted covers for all of his consoles. Now I've done maybe 4 or 5. Yes, I know that sounds ridiculous, doesn't it, that I've done 4 or 5 already and there's still more to go, but there is. And this is the sort of thing that I've made. It's literally just a cover. This is was a duvet cover. It's Mario fabric. Sorry, I was holding that up the wrong way for you. And I've literally just sort of made a boxed sort of cover to go over the top. It's lined. He could have it either which way. They're just a bit boring to sew. I don't expect anybody else would necessarily want to sew one of these up, but certainly he has been banging on about these for probably about a year now, so I've at least got to sew one of these during Selfless Sew April. I won't necessarily put it in for the challenge itself because it's perhaps a little on the boring side, but useful nonetheless, and certainly if I can just sew one up, it will maybe get them off my back for a little bit. My next idea I spoke about in my recent fabric haul video, and it was to use this bit of fabric to sew up something for my boys. I was thinking of sewing up some shorty type pajamas for the summer months, and the pattern that I'm thinking about using for to start this particular fabric is the Patterns for Pirates Walk the Plank PJs. Now you can obviously sew those as a long pajama bottom, but I'm thinking of obviously cropping them off into shorts. That's a really simple pattern. Basically 2 legs, a piece of elastic. I mean, this will come together super duper quick, and I will just pair this with a jersey t-shirt, picking out one of these colours, probably red, maybe green. I have got some red jersey fabric, and hopefully I've got enough to do because I've got another project that I'm looking to make some out of red jersey, which I'll talk to you about in a moment. In terms of a t-shirt for to go with those pajama shorts, I'm probably looking to use the Waves and Wild Raglan Explorer t-shirt, or the A.B.&B, which is Anything But Basic by DIBY t-shirt. That particular pattern, the Anything But Basic t-shirt, is a free pattern, and obviously I will link everything I'm talking about today in the description notes, so if you want to find out a bit more about that pattern, just obviously click the link in that, and that will obviously take you to the web page for those. The next fabric that I'm going to show you is from First for Fabrics. I love First for Fabrics. I haven't bought anything from them for a few months, but I've certainly bought a number of different items from them in the last sort of year or two. I think they're great. I think they're really reasonable priced. Their customer service is really good. Their delivery is very quick. They're definitely one of my favourite places to go to, particularly for jersey fabric. So the piece of fabric that I've got here, I bought as a remnant piece. It might have come in kind of a remnant bundle that they sometimes do actually, and it's really cute. It's just got these otters all over it. I'm thinking of something for my younger son. I'm not quite sure. Maybe a t-shirt, maybe some pajamas, possibly even kind of it's just a cotton jersey, maybe kind of a lightweight hoodie or jumper. Now my go-to patterns for my boys are Waves and Wild. I think they're great. They're always really easy to sew up. Their instructions are fantastic. In the past, if you've watched my channel, you'll know that I'm a great fan of the Waves and Wild Hot Chocolate, and also, which is a hoodie pattern, but obviously you can do it as a crew neck. There's also a dress option, which obviously I haven't made for my boys, but certainly is there for if I'm ever wanting to sew up for a friend's little girl or anything. I have also, as I've talked about before, really now like the Waves and Wild Raglan Explorer. They also have the Lightning Leggings pattern, which is a free pattern. I've used that a number of times. I think it makes up obviously great leggings, but I use them for PJ bottoms, for particularly for my youngest. And there's a couple of different sort of fits on them in terms of how sort of tight fitting you like them. And I normally go, I think they call it a fluffy fit, which it was designed for a child that has got, you know, a big nappy on. My youngest is still in nappies at the moment, but also for pajamas I think it's nice to be a bit more roomy as well, so that always works out really well. So yes, that's definitely something in this for my youngest. I think possibly I'll run it past my older son to see whether he likes this fabric, but he's 7 now. I think it might be a little bit too young for him. If he does like it, then maybe I'll look to make, I think I've probably got enough to make a t-shirt for both of my boys, so maybe I'll go down the line of that. That's quite cute. Or I could look to make this into pajamas, a pajama set for both of my boys as well. So a number of different options, but something obviously for my boys with that one. The next thing I'm hoping to make is some pajamas for my husband. I'm looking to use the Ellie & Mac Adult Classic PJs pattern. Now this is a fantastic pattern. It's free. It's quite unbelievable that it's free because there are so many different options that you can do in this pattern. There's options for woven items, for knit items, there's night shirts, there's sort of your very kind of classic type pajamas that looks like you perhaps, you know, the style that you'd use piping with, etc. It's got knit pajamas and night shirts, shorts. There's all sorts of different options, so definitely worth checking that one out. Now I've had a piece of fabric in my stash. This is probably the longest surviving bit of fabric in my stash, and I bought this piece of fabric from Dunelm Mill some time ago. My local Dunelm Mill hardly does any dressmaking fabrics. Just occasionally they'll have like a couple of bolts randomly of stuff in, and I happened to go in one day and I saw this particular fabric and it was something stupid like £2.50 a metre, and so I picked some up, but then I haven't really known what to do with it. And it's this jersey fabric, and it's a grey and sort of white stripe. The stripe itself is kind of almost, it's not a full stripe if you like, it's kind of like an arty stripe to it. I showed this fabric to my husband probably at the time, and he was a bit like, well, I don't want pajamas out of that, I'll look like a convict or something. Charming. However, I would like to try that pattern, and I think and fabric that's sort of £2.50 a metre, you're not too worried about, you're not too precious about it. My husband is sort of 6'1", so he's not short by any stretch, and therefore pajamas for him take up quite a lot of fabric. He's requested long sleeved pajamas, which is bizarre, we're coming into the summer, but that's what he's after. And so I think I'm going to use this as a toile fabric. It's beautifully soft fabric, there's nothing wrong with the fabric itself, it's just he's not a massive fan of the stripy grey and white because he thinks it's a bit convict like. Now the next fabrics, I'm also looking to sew up something for my husband. I bought these and I showed them in my latest fabric haul. I'll link that in the cards. And this fabric I bought from Fabrics by Penny community group on Facebook. Now it came as a little bundle. It's got obviously some pattern fabric, and I'll show you that in a second, some just red cotton jersey, and some blue ribbing fabric, a sort of a royal blue ribbing fabric, and they all just go really nicely together. Sometimes it's really nice just to buy a bundle, isn't it? So you haven't got to think about what you'd pair with what. So my thought when I bought this fabric, and I'll show it to you in a bit more detail. I thought it was really fun. My husband quite likes a sort of a bold print on a t-shirt, and I thought it would be great to do the body in this fabric, the sleeves in this red, and the neckband in the blue. And I thought if I did a raglan style t-shirt that would look really cool. He's still not quite on board, so I might not sew this one up for him. I'm not going to waste this fabric. I think it's gorgeous, and if he doesn't want to, then I certainly will, or I'm sure my boys would be quite into it as well. Obviously if I'm sewing something up for myself, that doesn't fall under the Selfless sew, and so I would wait for another month. But we'll see. If I do sew up something for him, I'm looking again at an Ellie and Mac pattern. It is the adult straight fit raglan t-shirt, and I'll pop a picture in so that you see what that looks like. I believe this pattern is a unisex pattern. It's nice, isn't it, to be able to have a pattern that you can use for both of you, so I really like that. Ellie and Mac patterns are also really size inclusive, so I'll pop some details up on the screen of the sizes for this particular top. Now the last thing I'm hoping to make up is some slippers, the Wayfarer slippers. I think they're actually called the Wayfarer shoes. Now this is a pattern that was brought to my attention by the lovely Adam from Adam Sews, and he's also done a tutorial on his challenge. I've sewn these once up for myself, and I didn't use the instructions at all. I just used Adam's tutorial because it was so great, and they come together really quickly and really easy. I haven't actually thought about what fabric I'm going to use for these particular ones. I've got some fleece fabric. I've also got some bits of leftover denim which I could use for the sole on these slippers, and hopefully I'll make up some slippers for my husband and my two boys. Now the Wayfarer slippers are really great. They go from kid sizes right through to adults, so a really good size range on those and good for the whole family. So definitely hoping to sew up pairs for my family members, and then possibly I'll look to make some more later on in the year as presents for my mum and dad and things like that as well. As you can see, I've got an array of different patterns that I'm hoping to sew up in April. I may well not sew up all of these. I've possibly set myself a little bit of a tall challenge, but I think it's always nice to have options, because sometimes you don't necessarily feel like sewing up something that you've planned. Well, I don't always anyway, and so it's nice to have different options. I really hope that you've enjoyed today's video. Do let me know if you're to be taking part in Selfless Sew April 22. If you've got any questions, please do pop them in the comments and I'll come back to you, or go over to Crystal or Adele's YouTube or Instagram pages, and I'm sure they'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you may well have. I think that's all from me today. I really hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have done, please do give me a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. And until next time, take care, happy sewing, bye bye.